Longreach is at the heart of regional Queensland, known for the Australian Stockman's Hall of Fame, and the Qantas Founders Museum, the town of 3,000, will take to the polls in a month from now to vote on their new mayor. I sat down with one strong frontrunner, Brecken Curtis, earlier today. Now, you're running for Mayor of Longreach. Why?
Why, Gleeson? The reason why is I want to make a change in the bush, to be honest. We've had enough of business as usual, and I think it's time we have new ideas and we put in some practice, some fresh thinking, and get some stuff done out in the bush.
Now, you came to Longreach as a banker.
I did.
What are you doing now?
I'm still in the finance game. I've got my own finance business based in Longreach. So I come from a good understanding of finance, and my ideas, councils are struggling all across Queensland, and I think we need different people with different backgrounds to get into those roles to try and make a difference.
Now, we know that one of the big issues in Western Queensland is certainly drought. What are the other challenges that you are hearing from constituents that you'd like to tackle if you become mayor? Yeah,
one of the biggest problems, as we talk about a lot, is water. Water security for regional towns is a big issue. And the other thing is population decline. We often see people moving to bigger centres, and that really impacts on those regional towns and those little businesses that rely on people. So we need to stop population decline and get people living back out in the bush.
It's easier said than done, though, isn't it, Brecken?
It is definitely easier said than done.
So what sort of incentives do you think we need to institute to bring people out into the bush?
In terms of incentives, I think we need to sell the lifestyle, and the benefits of living in the bush is more than probably incentives. There's so many people, once they live in a regional town, and like my family, absolutely love it and wouldn't live anywhere else. So I think it's how we sell that story to people in the cities to get them to try and live in regional towns, because the lifestyle's so much better. And
we've seen in recent years where banks and certainly governments have reduced services in the bush. For example, some of the branches, there's been 300 banking branches closed in the bush in the last 5 years, and we've seen in Queensland where maternity provision, maternity services for neonatal care has declined quite appreciably. So how do you instill a different mindset with both the banking community and government to try and help the bush?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there is around, how do we have that connect between them and get the communication and the benefits to the government and to the banks on why we should have more people invested in those towns, because the banks are such a big part of regional Australia, and if they continue to keep closing branches the way they are, they're really destroying the communities, and we need to do everything we can to try and stop that the best we can.
Brecken, have you had much rain out there lately?
Mate, we have had a bit of rain, but there's definitely parts of Queensland that have still missed out, and we need a lot more rain. So hopefully this weekend there's a bit more coming.
Well, I actually saw an aerial shot of the Ilfracombe racetrack. Yep. We might even try and bring that up. Mate, it looks pretty barren.
It does. It does. That area has missed out from rain, and the thing is, there's been widespread rain across Queensland, but then there's spots like Ilfracombe that have completely missed out, which is just shocking when you look at it from the air.
Yeah. Speaking of the air, regional airfare is a huge issue in Western Queensland, and the monopoly that Qantas enjoys, they're allowed to charge $1,400 for an airfare between Longreach and Brisbane, and of course we know that it's cheaper to get from Brisbane to Los Angeles than it is to get from Longreach to Brisbane. How do you convince Alan Joyce that somehow he's got a, and I know they're a commercial operation, they're a company that obviously is profit driven, but how do we get these airfares under control?
Well, this is part of the story around getting people to live in regional Australia. If we had more access and people could get into those places a lot cheaper than what they are, more people would live there, and it'd be easier to do business there. So that's one thing we need to really fix, is that access and getting cheaper airfares into regional towns, because Qantas needs to get on board with the towns to try and help keep those communities alive.
All right, well, before we go, let's give a big plug to the annual Longreach Cup, which comes up in, I think, the last Saturday each September. I was there last year, and I tell you what, it's a fantastic day. And Brecken, I met Brecken there, and I've got to say, if that's one of your bucket list things to do, get out to a wonderful country race meeting, please, please get out to Longreach because it is fantastic, isn't it?
It's definitely, and those events that we have in Western Queensland are such a fantastic asset to, people come out and experience the great people that live in those parts of the world. So, definitely jump on a plane, get out to Longreach and meet some locals.
And nearby Winton, of course, got the dinosaur exhibition. That's fascinating as well.
Yep.
Brecken Curtis, good luck when you go. When's the polo? It's
28th of March.
28th of March. Okay,
Yep.
all right, good luck. Hope everything goes well.